To make this easy beginner knitting project, you could use a chunky yarn. This is Karen Tea Cakes, or 2 strands of worsted weight yarn, and this is Red Heart Super Saver. And you could use any size needles. I'm going to use 7mm. And I'm going to begin by casting on 7 stitches. To cast on with the long tail method, you can estimate how much yarn you're going to need by winding it around your needle as many times as the stitches. And I'm going to cast on 7 stitches, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that would be enough to cast on. But I'm going to add a little bit because I want to be able to sew my headband together when I'm finished. So I'm going to use my grandmother's thumb knit method. I just simply usually wind the yarn around my thumb, and then I stick my finger in and pull it off so that I have a twist there, and so that the loop will stay together, and I place that on my needle. So that'll be my first stitch, and then I'm going to cast on 6 more. I just loop my thumb around it, place the yarn on the needle, then bring my other end of yarn around the needle and slip that over, and that's how I'm going to cast on my 7 stitches. After you have your stitches cast on, we're going to knit every row. This is so easy for beginners because they only have to know the knit stitch. So to knit the first stitch, I'm going to insert my needle into the stitch, and then I'm going to take my yarn and pass it between the 2 needles, and then I'm going to bring my needle over to the other side and then slide that stitch off onto this needle. So I'm going to do that all the way across the row. Insert the needle into the stitch, pass the yarn over between the 2 needles, and then bring it onto this needle and cast it off of this needle. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and finish across the row, and now all of my stitches will be on this needle. So then to do the next row, I simply transfer over to this hand, and then I'm going to go ahead and knit the next row. And you're going to continue to do that until this long rectangle is long enough to wrap around the head, like that. And I have a section here that I've worked, and this is long enough to wrap around the head, and I just knit every row until it was long enough. And I'm going to cast off. So to cast off, you knit the stitch the same as you did for all the other rows. Now you knit the second stitch. You have 2 stitches on your needle. Now you're just going to take that first stitch and pull it over and off the needle. So knit a stitch, take the first stitch, pull it over and off the needle. Okay, so I've cast off all my stitches, and now I'm just going to cut my yarn and pull it through that last loop like that, and then I'm going to thread the yarn ends into a needle, and I'm going to bring both the ends together to form a tube, and I'm going to sew the 2 ends together. Like that. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish sewing it. Then I'll weave this yarn end into the finished work, and the headband will be finished.